Hello queens and kings, my name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Welcome to the channel. I come back again. Guys, I'm wearing this top. This top is thrifted. I got it for 5 rand. Hey, so you guys don't tell me about this thing of buying things because wow, it's discount over on top of discount and such. So welcome to this tutorial. This is the tutorial that I've had a lot of requests from this tutorial. Mamdi, Senamile, so many queens that have requested this tutorial, and finally we are doing this tutorial. This tutorial is going to be in 3 parts. So the first part will be doing our triangles, the third part will be attaching our triangles to the choker part, and then the third part will be doing the draping of our beads. So there's another tutorial from a different channel, and the way that they make the necklace, it's a different approach. So I wanted to include the link to that tutorial under the description so that you can see that there are different methods of making this necklace, so that you can choose the one that is more suitable and easier for you. So now the problem is I can't find the video. So please, queens and kings, if you know the video, please in the comment section, please include the link or the name of the channel so that other queens and kings, they can be able to go and see how that tutorial is done. The problem is that it's not in that tutorial is not in English. So when I search, it doesn't provide the results from the searching, does not provide that tutorial because it's not in English. And when I search triangle beaded necklace, and there are other results from that. So I'll also try and look and continue to search. Hopefully I might come across it on Pinterest. Maybe I'll go on Google and see what I can do. So what materials we'll be using for this tutorial: we'll be using our upholstery thread, we'll be using our needle, and our 8-knot sized beads. Bring all the colors that you want, bring them all, and we're going to be using them. You can also do this necklace with 11-knot sized beads, but for this tutorial we'll be using our 8-knot size beads. So let's get started. So the first thing that you'll need is your belt. Now this pattern is kind of like a freestyle. There's no really rules on how to create this pattern, but if I'm not mistaken, we do have a tutorial on it. I think it's called Rainbow Zigzag multicolor pattern, if I'm not sure, but I'm going to look it up and I'm going to put the link of the tutorial under the description. So this is the triangle that we're going to be doing for today. This is an example. We're going to do it in different colors because I want each and every triangle to have its own different colors. So first thing that you're going to take is your needle and your thread. This is my needle and my thread, and then at the end you're going to tie 2 knots, one in one place, one on top of another. You're not going to tie the 2 tails of your thread together. You're just going to choose one tail, and that's where you're going to tie your knot. So this is my first knot, then I'm going to tie another knot, there we go. So this is my second knot. So for the theme of my necklace, I want my navy blue to be more dominant for my necklace. So for each triangle I have a trimming of navy blue line first. So this one's not quite evident because it has that it has 3 navy blue, so you can't easily see that there is a trimming. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pick up my first 3 beads. So the first 3 beads is going to be the first line, and then it's going to be my navy blue, and then I'm going to pick up another 3 beads which are going to be a different color. So I'm going to pick up 3 navy and 3 color. So these are my 2 colors, so I have 6 beads in total. I'm going to push them to the end like this, and then I'm going to create a ladder stitch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to insert it into the first 3 beads from the bottom moving up. So you can see here's the tail, so insert my needle from the bottom moving up. So the beads will be placed side to side like this, and then I insert my needle from top to bottom in the 3 green beads. So this is how my beads are. Then I'm going to pick up 3 green beads. Here are my 3 green beads that I picked up. Then I insert my needle from the top to the bottom like this. Then I pull. Then I move up. So I want to change the color of my beads, and I want to create like a trimming. So if you can see from the pattern, I have the silver beads that trims the colors, that separate the white from the light blue and the light blue from the navy. So I'm also going to pick up the 3 silver beads. You can pick any color of your choice. What I love about this necklace is that you can just go crazy with colors. You can't limit yourself. Here are my 3 beads. So I insert from the bottom and I move up. Then I insert my needle into the silver beads. I move down. So now I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going to pick up 3 beads of that different color. So I've decided to do red. I picked up my 3 red beads. Then I insert my needle. I move down. So this is the ladder stitch. Then I move up. Then I pick up another 3 red beads. I move up. So where you insert your needle is always going to be opposite to the tail of your thread. So you can see that the tail of the thread is moving outwards. I don't know how to explain it. So your needle is going to insert your needle inwards in the opposite direction on the other end. Yes, on the other end. Then, but you only do that once when you add your needle, only when you're still adding your next 3 beads. So I'm going to pick up 3 beads. These beads are going to be another trimming. So here's the first. This is how it is. So now it's time for this trimming, and I've decided on using gold. So I'm going to pick up 3 gold beads. This is just a shine triangle. So as you can see, the tail it's pointing downwards, and you insert your needle from the top on the other end. while you're doing the leather stitch here on your foundation. So now I am going to pick a different color. I'm going to pick light blue. I decided on light green. Light blue, hey is too much. It's too much color. But I wanted a warm color. Anything also yellow would have been good, but I thought yellow was going to take the attention away from the gold. So here I am going to add 5 more lines. So this of the green. So this is the second line of the green that I'm adding. Move up. Then I add the third line of green. This is the center. It's the belly of your triangle. Then I'm going to add my fourth line for the green. This is the fourth line of green that I'm adding. The knots. So I'm back. I've sorted out my knot problem, and I have my 5 green lines that I had added. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the very same thing that I was doing on the other side. So we have gold here, and I'm going to add my gold. Then I move up. Then we have 2 red beads, 2 red lines. So I'm going to start with my first red line. Then I move on to my second red line, as we have been doing on the other side. So after the red, we have the 1 silver line. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add my 1 silver line. So let me just quickly pick up my silver beads. So I continued until I got to the end. So now it's time to start a new line. So what you're going to observe is that the measurements are the same. So all the triangles are going to be the same size. So it's time for me to start a new line. So as we continue the triangle, for each line we're going to decrease and decrease and decrease, and you're going to see that the decrease happens at the center of your triangle. So in the next line, instead of having 5 lines of the light green, we're going to have 4 lines, and then on the other row we're going to have 3 lines of green, 2 lines of green, 1 lines of green. As we continue moving up, the center, that's where the difference happens. It happens here at the center. So we're going to start a new line. So what we're going to do when you start a new line, for every time when you start a new line, you're going to pick 2 lines. So you're going to pick 3 blue beads from the first line, and then we're going to pick up 3 green beads from the second line. So these are the 6 beads. So when you look at the top of your project, you have these connecting bridges. Yes, the threads. So you're going to skip the first one. Can I bring it closer to the camera? Going to skip the first one and go to the second one. So you're going to take your needle and you put your needle underneath that thread, bridge thread, and then you pull. So it's going to stand like this. Then what you're going to do, you're going to take your needle, insert it into the 3 green beads, and you pull it up like this. So as you pull, it's going to be secure like this. Then you go back, you put your needle into the 3 blue beads. So you go back, and then you go back again to the 3 green beads. So you move your needle, you insert your needle from the bottom, moving upwards like this, and then you pull. When you pull, make sure that your thread hides nicely in between the rows like this. So how do you make sure that happens? You just pull tighter, but not too tight, but you pull tighter and this happens. So now we're going to continue. I pick up 3 green beads. Here are my 3 green beads. So what we're going to do now is the same thing. You're going to pick the same colors from your bottom, but the change always happens at the center, né? Okay, so how do I go about? I go to the next bridge. I take my needle, I put it underneath that thread bridge, so you can see. Then I pull my needle, then I take my needle, I insert from the bottom up. It's almost the same as when you're doing a brick stitch, from the bottom up. So now I'm going to pick up my 3 silver beads. Here are my 3 silver beads. I take my needle, I put it underneath the thread bridge like this, and then I pull donza. Then you insert your needle under your beads, moving upwards. So that's the motion that you're going to continue to move in. You're going to pick up 3 red beads, take your needle, put it underneath the thread bridge. I like how we always make up words in this channel. What is a thread bridge? Tell me. But that's how we understand it, né? So you pick up another 3 red beads underneath your thread bridge. Then you move up like this. Then I pick up 3 gold beads underneath thread bridge. So this is how you move with this stitch throughout. So this is where the change is going to happen. So instead of having 5 green beads, I'm going to have 4 green beads. So I'm just going to add the 4 green beads, and then I'm going to come back just to save time. So these are the 4 beads that I've added. So now I add my 3 gold beads. Then I add the red. I'm going to add the 2 lines. So this is my first line of red. Then I move up, and this is my second line of red. Then I set my needle up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to continue this line, and then we're going to meet here at the end. So the way you're going to move is going to be the same. You just copy from the bottom. You have 2 red, 1 silver. You're going to add your silver, 2 green, 1 navy, 1 navy. And then we're going to come back when we are turning. So I've completed to the other line, to the end. So now we're going to start a new row. So we're going to do the very same thing that we did when on this row, when we're at the corner, when we're turning. You're going to first pick up the 3 blue beads and then the 3 green beads. And then you skip the first bridge thread and you go into your second bridge thread. So insert your needle underneath and then you pull. Then you move up. Then you go back to your 3 blue beads. The reason why we go back is because there is this gap that is evident. So if you go back here to your blue and then go back to the green, it brings the 2 lines closer, a bit closer together. So as you can see, there's a difference. So it makes it nice and neat. Then you pick up your 3 green beads, move up, I'm going to do all the way until I get to the gold, because there's a lot of action that happens at the center. So instead of our 3 green, we're going to have our 3 green. So this is where we are. So we are at the center. This is where the action happens. So we start with our first line of green. Continue with our second line of green. Then continue to our final third line of green. So it's the final line of light green for this row. Then I add my gold, green, gold, red, silver, green, and blue. So I'm just going to continue and then we're going to meet at the corner. This is the new row. So by now you know how things work. So you skip the first bridge, then you go to the second, insert your needle underneath, then you move up. See, I got too confident, and then things like this happen. I got too confident. Now what happened? See, I got too confident. Okay, can I sort it out real quick? I'm back, and the lesson of the day is always be mindful of your work. Don't be too confident. Confidence is good, but even a good amount of confidence is good. Everything needs balance in this life. Then you pick up your 3 green beads. Everything needs balance. You can't do too much of everything, of anything. Okay, so I'm going to do all the way until I get to the gold, and then we can do the green together. Back at this point. So this is where the action happens. So this is our first green line. So for this row, we're only going to have 2 green lines because on the previous row we had 3, so we're going to have 2. Then I add my second green line, and then I'm done with the light green at the center. So as I continue, I'm going to pick up gold, 1 red, silver, 1 green, and blue. So we're going to meet at the end. We have reached the end, so now we're going to start our new row. 3 green, 3 blue, 3 green. This is going to be a constant, hey, for our 3 blue, 3 green when you're starting a new line, because it's the same throughout. Then insert our needle, we move up, you go back to blue, and then you move back up to green. So I'm going to do this until I get to the gold, and then we're going to do the light green part together. Okay, so I arrive at the center. So I'm now going to pick up my row of green. So for this, my line of green. So for this row, we're only going to have 1 green at the center, because as we move up, the number of lines, they decrease in number. I almost said in size. So now I close off my green with my row of gold. So I'll pick up my 3 gold beads, and this is how I seal my green. So I'm just going to continue to do the red, silver, and the green and the blue at the end, and then we're going to turn together. So this is the new row. 3 blue, you pick up your 3 blue and your 3 green beads, insert your needle under the second bridge of thread, you move up with your green, and then you move back to your blue, and then you move back up to your green. So I'm going to do everything until we meet at this point. Now you're probably wondering what's going to happen with our green. So we're done with the green. What we're going to do now, to close off the green, we're going to pick up 2 gold rows of beads. For example, as you can see here, let me remove the thread. So the white is the same as here in our green. So to seal up, you add 2 rows of silver, or the color that is your border. In this case, which is our gold. So let us continue. I'm going to continue off camera, and then we want to meet at the point of the gold. So I arrive at the center. So now this is the first line of gold that we're going to add. And then going to pick up the second line of gold that we are going to add. Oopsie. And then, ta-da! Our light green at the center is sealed. So after this, you continue with your red, your silver, and your green. You continue with your colors. So I'm just going to continue, and then we're going to meet at the end when we're starting a new row. So you add the new line. So you start with your 3 blue and then your 3 green. Take it, insert it under your thread bridge, and then you move up your green, you move back at your blue, and you move back up at your green. I feel like I could be such a good storyteller. So now we at the center, when you get to the center, instead of picking up 2 lines of gold, you are going to pick up 1 line of gold, because that is where change happens. The change always happens at the center. It's like a pyramid. So you start at the bottom of the pyramid and you get to the top. So as you get to the top, it keeps on decreasing and decreasing. So we're going to meet at our gold spot. So this is how it is. There's just 1 gold line at the center. So now I'm just going to continue until I get to the end, and then we'll start a new line together. Okay, so now we're going to add a new thread. So I'm just going to make 2 knots, one on top of another, by taking the tail of my thread and twisting it. And here we are. Where is it? I have my knot here. So I'm gonna take my needle, insert it in the bottom. In my previous the last line that I added. So that's what we're going to do. You pull your knot for it to be inside so that it cannot show, and then lightly you take the 2 tails, the old tail and the new tail, and you tie a knot. So your first knot, and then you tie a second knot, just to be safe and to secure it nicely, and make sure it's nice and tight. Then you cut out the excess thread. Now I don't like to cut them too closely. I only do that to the end when I'm done, completely done with the project. I just cut the tails shorter, and then I'll come back and trim later with using a nail cutter. A nail cutter helps to cut neater. So I'm just going to continue with my rows, and as the way I've been we have been doing it. So these are my triangles, queens and kings in total. So if you want to make, it's because the necklace that I'm currently making is a smaller one, because the person I'm making the necklace for has a smaller neck. If you want the necklace to be bigger for the length, you can add another triangle. I also made this necklace before and I had 6 triangles of the same size and they fit perfectly to the owner. So I would say, to be safe, make sure that you have 6 triangles. Make sure that your necklace can add 6 triangles. This one is different because the owner has a smaller neck. So this is where we're going to stop for today's tutorial, queens and kings. On the next tutorial, we'll be attaching the triangles to the choker belt that I showed you at the beginning of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, queens and kings. I love you guys so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. If you love the content that you're seeing, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video. Bye.